Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivechakaracharya Ashtottara Shatashi Mad A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jaya Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivechakaracharya Ashtottara Shatashi Mad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada ki Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद की श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरी गोवर्धन की वृंदावन धाम की मथुरा धाम की नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की जगन्नाथपुरी क्षेत्र धाम की गंगमय यमुनामाई की तुलसी देवी भक्ति देवी की सामवेद भक्त वृंद की गौर प्रेमानंदे all glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories, all glories, all glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Hare Krishna. Krishna. Welcome to today's Srimad Bhagavatam class. We'll be reading from the 3rd canto, 16th chapter, titled Jai and Vijay Cursed by the Sages. We're reading from the 32nd verse today. dvāḥsthāv ādiśya bhagavān, dvāḥsthāv ādiśya bhagavān, vimāna-śreṇi-bhūṣaṇam, vimāna-śreṇi-bhūṣaṇam, sarva-atiśayayā lakṣmyā, sarva-atiśayayā lakṣmyā, juṣṭaṁ svam dhiṣṇyam āviśat, juṣṭaṁ svam dhiṣṇyam āviśat, dvāḥsthāv ādiśya bhagavān, ādiśya bhagavān, vimāna-śreṇi-bhūṣaṇam, sarva-atiśayayā lakṣmyā, juṣṭaṁ svam dhiṣṇyam āviśat, dvāḥsthāv ādiśya bhagavān, vimāna-śreṇi-bhūṣaṇam, sarva-atiśayayā lakṣmyā, juṣṭaṁ svam dhiṣṇyam āviśat, dvāḥsthāv ādiśya bhagavān, vimāna-śreṇi-bhūṣaṇam, sarva-atiśayayā lakṣmyā, juṣṭaṁ svam dhiṣṇyam āviśat. Please chant. dvāḥsthāv ādiśya bhagavān, vimāna-śreṇi-bhūṣaṇam, sarva-atiśayayā lakṣmyā, juṣṭaṁ svam dhiṣṇyam āviśat, dvāḥsthāv ādiśya bhagavān, vimāna-śreṇi-bhūṣaṇam, sarva-atiśayayā lakṣmyā, juṣṭaṁ svam dhiṣṇyam āviśat, dvāḥsthāv ādiśya bhagavān, vimāna-śreṇi-bhūṣaṇam, sarva-atiśayayā lakṣmyā, juṣṭaṁ svam dhiṣṇyam āviśat. Mataji, would you like to chant? dvāḥsthāv ādiśya bhagavān, vimāna-śreṇi-bhūṣaṇam, sarva-atiśayayā lakṣmyā, juṣṭaṁ svam dhiṣṇyam āviśat. dvāḥ-sthau, to the doorkeepers. ādiśya, just directing them. Bhagavān, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. vimāna-śreṇi-bhūṣaṇam, always decorated with first-class airplanes. sarva-atiśayayā, in every respect extensively opulent. lakṣmyā, opulences. juṣṭaṁ, bedecked with. svam, his own. dhiṣṇyam, abode. āviśat, went back. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada. After thus speaking at the door of Vaikuṇṭha, the Lord returned to His abode, where there are many celestial airplanes and all-surpassing wealth and splendor. One more time, please repeat with me. After thus speaking, at the door of Vaikuṇṭha, the Lord returned to His abode, where there are many celestial airplanes and all-surpassing wealth and opulence, wealth and splendor. Purport. It is clear from this verse that all the incidents took place at the entrance of Vaikuṇṭhaloka. In other words, the sages were not actually within Vaikuṇṭhaloka, but they were at the gate. It could be asked, How could they return to the material world if they entered Vaikuṇṭhaloka? But factually, they did not enter, and therefore they returned. There are many similar incidents where great yogīs and brāhmaṇas, by dint of their yoga practice, have gone from this material world to the Vaikuṇṭhaloka, but they were not meant to stay there. They came back. It is also confirmed here that the Lord was surrounded by many Vaikuṇṭha airplanes. Vaikuṇṭhaloka is described here as having splendid opulence, far surpassing the splendor of this material world. All other living creatures, including the demigods, are born of Brahma, and Brahma is born of Lord Vishnu. Krishna states in Bhagavad Gita, in the 10th chapter, Ahang sarvasya prabhavaha. Lord Vishnu is the origin of all manifestations in the material world. Those who know that Lord Vishnu is the origin of everything, who are conversant with the process of creation, and who understand that Vishnu, or Krishna, is the most worshipable object of all living entities, engage themselves in Vishnu worship as Vaishnavas. The Vedic hymns also confirm this. Om Tad Vishnu Paramam Padam. The goal of life is to understand Vishnu. The Bhagavatam also confirms this elsewhere. Foolish people, not knowing that Vishnu is a supreme worshipable object, create so many worshipable objects in this material world, and therefore they fall down. Om Ajnana-timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militan Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandehang Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalang Shri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vithang Tang Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padang Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhang Vitangscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dīnabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Panchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. After thus speaking at the door of Vaikuṇṭhaloka, the Lord returned to his abode, where there are many celestial airplanes and all-surpassing wealth and splendor. So before I start speaking on this verse, I would like to seek blessings of all assembled Vaishnavas here, so I can speak something in the line of Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra, and please everyone. So the Supreme Lord Narayan has given assurance to the two gatekeepers, Jai and Vijay, in this verse. Basically, he's saying in the previous couple of verses, don't worry, depart this place, but fear not. By practicing the mystic yoga system in anger, you will be cleansed of the sin of disobeying the brāhmaṇas, and within a very short time, return to me. This is what he said in the 31st verse of this chapter. So we see that even if there is some sin, Narayan says that even if there is some sin while you're on the earth, it is okay. You will still come back to me. See, the thing is, even if devotees even if it seems like they're committing sins, it is not the case, because devotees can never commit sins. In the same way, when Jai and Vijay go down to the earth, and if they by chance do commit any so-called sins, or if they do break any material law or ethical boundaries, they'll be purified of all those sins if they perform any sins. And how is that? This is by practicing the the mystic yoga in the process of anger. The exact word that Prabhupada translated is, by practicing the mystic yoga system in anger, you will be cleansed of the sin of disobeying me. So basically, this is one of the 7 indirect rasas. It's called the Raudra rasa. And by practicing this, practicing bhakti in the mode of anger, they'll be purified of all their sins. So we know that there's 12 rasas in total, and out of the 12, 7 are direct, primary, and the other 5 are five are primary, and the other 7 are secondary. And this anger or Rodra is one of the 7 indirect or secondary rasas. So what exactly is this bhakti yoga system of anger? So bhakti yoga system, the word bhakti yoga simply means to think of Krishna. But if you think of the Lord in anger, that is also purifying, because the sum total of all the rasas is love of Godhead. So anger is also one of the rasas of attaining love of Godhead. Even if it is one of the secondary rasas, and even if it seems that it's not so normal, but Narad Muni says in the 32nd verse of the first chapter in the 7th canto, Tasmat kena pupayena manha krishne niveshayet. Somehow or other, one has to consider the form of Krishna very seriously, and one must think of Krishna always, whether friendly or inimically. So this is what Narad Muni is emphasizing, that we have to fix up our mind on Krishna, no matter what the cost is. Only then will we get purified. And after purification, if we want to go back to Godhead, we can do so. In the same way, if we desire to go if we decide to go to the heavenly planets, we can do so. If you want to go to Brahmaloka, we can do so. If you want to go to Tapaloka, we can do so. But if you want to go to, stay on this earthly planetary system, that also we can do. So merely by one getting purified, that does not mean that they go back to Godhead. Srila Prabhupada says that one has to desire to go back to Godhead. It's that desire that is important, not just becoming purified. Jai Shri Shri Radha Govinda Dev Ki. So, without that desire to go back to Godhead, all this so-called purification is of no use. And so we may ask the question, who are these people who want to go back to Godhead? And it is those people who want to go back to Godhead, or like devotees, basically. So we see that other people who are not devotees, others who are not so much interested in this bhakti yoga system, they don't really have that strong desire to go back to Godhead. We see I've seen in this temple when people come for darshan in the evening or in the afternoon or in the morning sometimes. They just come in, offer some obeisances in the wrong way. Then they go to the deities, they make some quick prayer, they offer some bhoga, and then they leave. It's like shigra darshan, like expedited of darshan. So that's not really desiring to go back to Godhead. A devotee, when he comes to the temple, he offers obeisances slowly, nicely, offers obeisances to Prabhupada, to the devotees. Then he goes to the Radha Krishna, offers his obeisances there. And he just takes part in the events that are happening in the temple. But these other people who just come for shigra darshan, we see that they spend no less than 10 to 11 minutes in the temple, and then they go somewhere else. And when they go somewhere else, they do so many other things. And they take their time with these things. It's not like they're in a rush then, but they're always in a hurry to come to the temple just to say their prayers and ask something from the Lord. So my point is, if one really, really has to want Krishna, and if someone doesn't want Krishna, then